Yeah, what's going on, Gooners and Goonerettes? My word, I tell you, it feels great to be top of the league, but there's a lot of accolades to go around, and there's a lot of people on the forum giving kudos. I mean, everyone's getting it right now. Saliba, man of the match, just a flawless. I mean, it's the first time, as I pointed out, that I've given a player a 9.5 out of 10 this year. Arteta got a perfect 10. And there was all kinds of performances and players. I mean, you can go all across the board. The two centre backs, can't not talk about Gabriel as well. Tierney had his best game. Xhaka now 3 assists and a goal this season, which is his best start in the season. One has to ask, where has that been? As long as the mistakes are kept to a minimum, then I think he'll have a decent season. And then Ben White, for me, who's the unsung hero. That's the guy who I'm talking about because he's been sustained from the England squad. Everyone is just on his back. No one's talking about him. No one's giving him any accolades. I gave him an 8 out of 10. I remember the first game against Crystal Palace. A lot of people were giving him 4 out of 10s. And I was like, hold on a second. You play Zaha and defenders are getting rinsed by him. He's scoring. Zaha's got 4 or 5 goals already this season. Ben White kept him quiet, clean sheet, and he got a 4. I'm sorry, I gave Ben White a 7 in that game because when you hold someone like William Zaha to a 0 goals, when you keep a man like that quiet, you deserve to get a pat on the back. So I'm not sure. Yeah, sure, Zaha had some good moments against him, but Zaha's going to have good moments against anybody in the league. It doesn't matter who you are. And I just thought that since then, people ain't really been giving him the respect. Nobody's talking about Ben White. All of a sudden, international break comes up. Everyone's talking about why isn't he included? And I just think that is a far cry from his performance and what he did yesterday as well. Pretty much goes to show why he should be involved in the England team. How is this guy not involved in the England team? So, which leads me to now talk about Gabriel Jesus, the real big reason why Arsenal are playing this way. The dimension of his hold-up play, what he does off the ball, his pressing has just changed Arsenal as a whole. Everything, the whole dynamic of how Arsenal play up front is because of this one guy, and he doesn't stop trying. It's relentless. His motor is just astonishing. The guy is the Energizer Bunny, or as we say here in the UK, the Duracell Bunny. He does not quit. He does not stop. He must be horrible to defend against. I wonder what defenders have to say about him, when they talk to defenders and say, who's the hardest guy that you've ever defended against? I know Haaland is a handful, and the man's got 14 goals in 10 appearances in all competitions for Man City this season. But Haaland is a guy who has a lot of quiet moments and then he just flashes up with this moment of brilliance and then bang, there you go. But with Jesus, it doesn't stop. It's just continuously hitting on you. I mean, that's the reason why I stated that in the preview of the Brentford game that he's the most fouled player. He's the most fouled player in the Premier League because he's just so busy and he does not stop and he's on you from the start of the whistle till the end of the game. And it must be terrifying to defend against someone like that. But the biggest thing as well, going underneath the radar for me, was Thomas Partey. Now, a lot has been said about Partey, and I know he's the captain of Ghana, and they're going to be looking for him to play a part. But I think the team management has been really good this season. Saliba, who's been also carrying a knock. I can't believe he played like that, carrying a knock. Absolutely awesome. But they've been giving him a lot of rest as well, so I'm hoping that France will probably do that. I do see him playing a part, just like I do Thomas Partey. All I can hope for those international managers to do is to not burn out those players. Understand that, yes, give them some playing time, maybe a half, maybe a game, but don't burn them out for 2 games because we've got probably the biggest game of the year for us in the North London derby, and Spurs don't do well when they come to the Emirates. And that's a game that we have to slap them back down. We have to slap the reality of them down because Spurs have had a good season so far. They've drawn games they should have lost, and they've won games they should have drawn. And that is down to Conte. And as I said to Andy on the Premier League show on Friday, They haven't been fantastic. Song, who I've talked about, hasn't had a great season, and he came alive the other day with a hat-trick, which was great for them. But it's not been very Spursy. The type of football and the style of football Spurs fans are not really happy with. But it's the result that matters. So it's like we're going Jose Mourinho all over again. But with Arsenal, it's the complete opposite. You're getting a performance and you're getting a result pretty much game in, game out. Even the game they lost against Man United, they outplayed Man United off the park. So I think for Arsenal, it's good stead. And a lot of people now are starting to wise up to it. They're starting to talk about it. Are they title contenders? And the likes of Alan Shearer, who's the most hardened Arsenal hater out there, he's saying, look, man, they're not title contenders, but they have definitely changed. And it's the away form, guys. When you go away and it's not just the away form. Let's talk about this in general. A lot of people, and I'm tired of this, a lot of people say, who have they beaten? I'll tell you who they've beaten. They've beaten teams that have not only drawn and taken points and beaten other teams as well, but they've done it to our rivals. You know, Man City's drawn, Liverpool's drawn, and Manchester United have lost, and Arsenal have beaten all of those teams that have taken points off of our top rivals. So don't tell me about who Arsenal played, because the answer to that is they've played teams that have taken points off everybody else. So it's just rubbish when this is the Premier League, guys. Yeah? Have some respect for this league, because if you don't, it will send you home with your tail between your legs. Every game is a tough game, don't matter who you play against. You have to bring your A game. And what has been outstanding for me is one thing, and that is Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta has got his team developed. He's got his team ready to play. And the tactics are pretty much on point every single game. And another thing, shout out to the set pieces coaching. They have absolutely nailed it to the ballpark this season. Brentford came in having dominated teams in set pieces. Arsenal just shut them down. Absolutely shut them down. And not just that, but Arsenal are scoring from set pieces as well. And you look at the thing where, not just set pieces as well, let's talk about Fabio Vieira, who I thought had a fantastic, wonderful debut. Martinelli and Odegaard can be the stars, and Jesus. Both Martinelli and Odegaard have got 3 goals this season already. And at the time, you're looking at the likes of Saka and saying, you know, Saka hasn't come up yet. His season hasn't started yet. He hasn't played well. And I made my opinions clear on that. I've given him a 4 out of 10, and I've given him a 4.5 out of 10 in the first 3 games. But lately, I've been giving him 7s, and yesterday I gave him an 8. He's got 4 or 5 assists already this season, which is higher than anybody in the Premier League. And he's starting to really, really gain some momentum. And the trick for Arsenal is that when you have a Martinelli who didn't play well, and Odegaard who didn't play yesterday, and you got these other guys like Saka and Fabio Vieira turning up and just balling out, that just goes to show you the wealth that Arsenal have to work with and the squad dimension and strength. And we didn't really see a lot of Nketiah yesterday, but it just goes to show that we've got all of these players waiting in the wings. There was no Odegaard and Zinchenko on the field yesterday, and yet Arsenal were absolutely dominant. And this is a nice place to be, guys. It's a fantastic place to be. Sambi has fulfilled his role. Everyone can say that now. Thomas Partey missed a couple of games. Sambi came in, did his job. Yeah? And long may it continue. Use these players. Have games like yesterday against Brentford where you can put him on with 15, 20 minutes to go, because you trust that the player will be able to do a job. It's great for the player because he's playing. It's great for Thomas Partey because he's resting. And it's great for the manager because you're able to keep everybody happy and start to build that rotation, something which is going to be key in October as the fixtures start to pile up. But overall, guys, really happy with the way the team are at the moment. Just some flawless football, some flawless off-the-ball tenacity. Substitutions are a little bit late, but everybody's starting to see a little bit of what's going on. We're resting players like Saliba. Odegaard again was out as a precaution. Thomas Partey was rested when he needed to be rested. Wasn't sure he was going to start this game against Brentford. So Same thing with Zinchenko too. We can talk about Zinchenko as well. But all of this, guys, is being managed well. It's been managed well. And I hope that as October comes, we don't have to deal with many more injuries. We're going to be getting El Nene back halfway through the month as well. So he's going to help that rotation as it goes along. But Arsenal, top of the league going into international break, I think is very important for us to sit back, reflect and relax. And not another game now till 11 days where we play Spurs. In fact, we've got 3 home games on the bounce there. We've got Spurs, we've got the Europa League, and then we've got Liverpool. So I think that we've come out of the away games in good stead. Yeah, I know we lost the whole Trafford, but these are away games in the Premier League. They're tough, guys. They're tough. And then you got the run of home games now where we're going to see what Arsenal are really made of. If they get a result against Spurs and Liverpool, then I think the likes of people like Shearer are going to start talking about title contenders. And it is title contenders, guys. We're not talking about going to win the league. We're talking about title contenders. There's a difference, yeah? Being a top 4 contender, being a title contender, and winning the league are 3 different things, guys. And I think Arsenal now are sort of making those stages, aren't they? Last season, it was about getting back into Europe, and that's what they did. This season, it's about getting back into the top 4, and it seems like they're overcommitting on those promises as well. Just like last season. Last season, it was supposed to be, let's get back in the Europa League, and we were challenging for top 4. So this team is ahead of its development. Remember, it's the 3-year plan, trust the process, and a lot of fans were just rubbishing it off. What does that look like now, guys? Yeah? What does that look like now? Didn't you trust the process? Didn't you have any faith that this was going to happen? Yeah? I'll leave that over to you. I'll speak to you guys later, man. I'm flying off to Greece in a couple of days, so I will catch up with you guys. I'll try and do some videos midweek. If I don't, then I'm sorry if I go silent on radar. I do need to rest a lot. The show yesterday as well that I did, went for 3 hours. It did take a lot out of me. I was ailing a little bit this morning, which just goes to show I still need to sort of kick it back a little bit. But thank you guys for following the channel. I love your commitment. I love your passion. And you know, 101 is always going to be there with you, side by side, cheering on the Gooners. Big shout out to all of you lot. Nice, guys. Peace out. Right back at you.